Hi, everyone. Welcome to Gateway Medical Center. My name is Grace Moore, and today we're going to be talking about two really important aspects to being a speech language pathologist. And today we're in a hospital. So first, we're going to be talking about client confidentiality. So client confidentiality is a professional responsibility that we hold as speech language pathologists to keep all of our patients' health information protected in any way, shape, or form. Now, there are two key players that come to mind, HIPAA and ASH's Code of Ethics. So first, we're going to talk about HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So the purpose of HIPAA is just that, confidentiality. It addresses what is health protected information and how do we keep health protected information safe. Now, our next key player is ASH's Code of Ethics. So ASH's Code of Ethics was created to ensure the welfare of the consumer and to protect the reputation and the integrity of the professions. But more specifically, what I want to talk about today is how ASH's Code of Ethics directly addresses confidentiality with clients, patients, students, and research subjects. Now, I would like to direct your attention to ASH's Code of Ethics, Principle 1, Rule O, and Rule P. These two rules directly address client confidentiality as it has to do with patients and with colleagues. It tells us that we are required to keep client confidentiality unless otherwise told, required by the law. Now, what are some ways that we can keep and demonstrate client confidentiality in a hospital setting? So first is to keep paperwork in a safe, locked environment. So a great example of this is a locked file cabinet. You should not just walk down the hallways of the hospital and set your records down or set any patient information down. It needs to go in a safe place, locked, where it is protected. Now, another example of how to demonstrate client confidentiality in a hospital setting is confidentiality in conversations. So in a hospital, you might be working on an interprofessional team. In these cases, it would be really important to discuss your findings and anything relevant of your patient. But you should only be discussing anything that has to do with your patient in the safe environments in the hospital where it is appropriate and necessary. An example of where it wouldn't be appropriate is if you're just walking down the hallway telling your speech language pathologist friend about your newest patient and their diagnosis and everything that you're seeing in them. So you want to make sure that you demonstrate confidentiality in your conversations. Now, next we need to talk about ethical behavior. So ethical behavior is also directly addressed in ASH's Code of Ethics. Now, this gives us the highest standard of care that we should provide as speech language pathologists. So this gives us the guidelines that we need to adhere to ethical behavior because it ensures the welfare of the consumer while also protecting the reputation and the integrity of our professions. Now, Principles of Ethics 1, Rule C, says individuals shall not discriminate in the delivery of professional services or in the conduct of research and scholarly activities on the basis of race, ethnicity, sex, gender, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, age, religion, national origin, disability, culture, language, or dialect. So, an example of acting unethical in a hospital setting could be if I was conducting a research study and I decided to not choose patient C because of their ethnicity. That would be breaking ASH's Code of Ethics and not demonstrating ethical behavior. Next, the Principle of Ethics, Part 1, Rule J, says individuals shall accurately represent the intended purpose of a service, product, or research endeavor and shall abide by established guidelines for clinical practice and the responsible conduct of research. So a way that could be acting unethical in a hospital setting with this rule would be if I provided a service to a client with giving them the wrong idea and not explicitly saying what it was, what the purpose was, and what I would be doing as a speech-language pathologist. That would be unethical. Now, principle of ethics 3, Rule A says individuals shall not misrepresent their credentials, competence, education, training, experience, or scholarly contributions. So in a hospital setting, if I were to walk into a potential client's room and say, my name is Grace Moore, and I am a doctor of speech-language pathology, and I have this abundance of academic and scholarly contributions. Now, if I walk in and say that, and it's not true, that is unethical because I'm misleading my patient in the education that I have. So that is all that I have for you guys today at Gateway Medical Center. I hope you enjoyed your hospital tour of client confidentiality and ethical behavior.